What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Jamin Harper with PTownMedia, and
you already know some ways. Babe, we in the building, baby.
Right on. Today we have a special guest, Joe V, a featured reporter with Fox 12. He's with the Emmy Award show, Good Day, Oregon.
That's right. That's
man.
right. Thanks, fellas, for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Let's jump into that.
Yes, sir.
You are with a show. It's an Emmy Award show. What is it like being attached to a show like that?
Well, the show's been around a lot longer than I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting old and not going to age myself here, but I've been on the show for coming up on 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Yes, but the show was around long before that.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked into a situation where we already had like a lot of established people. Like Andy Carson, our weather guy, is a guy that like a lot of people know in this town. Tony Martinez, our traffic guy. He's been around. He was doing radio in the 80s. He was
The one in the helicopter.
Yeah, back in the day. I mean,
yeah.
so those guys have been around a long time. So I walked into a good situation where I was on an established show. People know our Kimberly Moss has been on the show, our anchor for 20 years plus. Shauna Parsons has been. So I mean, they're all just well established. So even though I'm been there 15 years and I'm in my 40s now, don't tell anybody. I'm still like kind of the young new guy on the show, which is crazy. So in that regard, it's cool. There's a certain level of comfort everybody has working together, and a lot of people in the community know the show, and so that was kind of easy for me to kind of slide in. I wouldn't say easy, but I didn't have to worry about the show's gonna survive whether I mess up or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm a cog in the machine. But it's all good.
You do bring a lot of good talent to the show, just as well as the other people you mentioned as well. For those that may not know, tell us what a typical day is like for you when you're waking up or getting to Fox 12.
Well,
share with us.
I'm getting up early, so
most do.
Yeah.
In this arena.
Alarm goes off around 3 o'clock. So I'll give you a little backstory, a little family story. So my wife is the morning anchor for Channel 6.
Oh, wow.
It's in the family.
Channel 6,
okay.
yeah. So she gets up, she got to do her hair and makeup. So she's up her alarm goes off at 2 in the morning. My alarm goes off at 3 in the morning. And so I'm at work by 4. Show starts at 4:30. Most of the time I'm out live on location. So I'll go out there and like today I was at a distillery that makes whiskey and gin and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
New place. It's like 2 miles from here, just opened. And so I'll be there live, kind of doing a bunch of like live remotes, interviewing people, talking about what's going on. Then I'll usually sometimes I got to go shoot something else after the show. I got my photographer, my cameraman Daryl, I've been working with for several years now. So we're kind of like, he's my right hand, I'm his left. So we do it all together. We might shoot something else after the show, like tape something.
Yeah.
I edit my own pieces too, so I like that creative part of the process. So I'll sometimes be editing pieces. And then I gotta like you guys do, I gotta book guests, figure out what I got. Now there's other people and resources that I can lean on that help me out, and I have bosses that tell me, hey, you're doing this, and producers that I gotta work with. So it's a team effort, but it's a work. I mean, what you see on camera is just very small. That's the part I would do for free, right? Just appearing on camera and talking, that's just fun, meeting people, interviewing people.
Awesome, yeah.
But there's a lot that goes into that, and that's what takes up the rest of the day. And then I'm off early because I start early. And then I get a couple hours, I might hit the gym, whatever, and then I got 2 young girls, pick them up now I don't have to pick them up from school, but normally pick them up from school, and then early dinner, go to bed early, rinse, wash, repeat, do it again.
It's really cool because I feel like I've grown up with you.
Thanks, man.
You said you've been in the game for 15 years on this particular station.
Yeah.
And, 15 years is quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like I've grown with you. I've seen you make some transitions personally, from weight loss to just even outlook of life. I even seen the confidence level grow.
Okay.
Swag come out.
All right.
When confidence grows, the swag comes out.
Yeah.
You don't mind dipping into it. So
Yes,
we definitely appreciate that. With that being said, how has the transition with health news? Because obviously you get it really early. How do you put all that in? Because you look really fit.
Yeah.
How do you find time to work out when you got to get up so early for
Let
work?
me give you a little backstory there, all right? So I hit my 30s, whatever it was. So I took this job. I started this job, I was 29 years old, all right? 2006, I was 29 years old. Started this job. Newlywed, we just been married, didn't have any kids.
Brain power.
Rolled up here. Started the job. It was all good. We had our kids. We had 2 girls. Everything's going good, but your 30s, your metabolism slows down. Everything slows down. If you don't know, you'll find out. Trust me on this. And so I go to a lot of gyms for my show, like fitness, food, whatever. There's all sorts of stuff that I cover, fun stuff around town. And we got to the point, the wife and I were planning a trip to Hawaii. And I'm like, man, I don't want pictures looking like this. Sure. So I went to a gym where I'd done a show and I met the guy, and the guy was like one of these like kind of scary dudes. And I was like, if I just go to this gym, this guy will yell at me enough that I'll just probably the pounds will melt off. So
you like He-Man?
Yes, sir. He's a Navy guy, right? He's one of these like military people. They're like, yes, sir. Like I'll salute if you want. Just don't shoot me. And so that year, so this was 2011. So this was 10 years ago. I just changed my diet. I'm like, I gotta stop eating. I can't just eat whatever I want anymore. I trade the Coke for a Diet Coke, and then get into the gym 5 days a week. And so I do that because I get done early. I get done around noon. Okay. Go to the gym. Do it for an hour, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and that's been 10 years now. So I'm in better. And to tie into what you're talking about with the job, and my energy's up. I can go. I don't get tired. I can do a lot of these activities that I'm out covering now. I'm physically more capable. I sleep better at night. Diet and fitness, man. If you can get that in check, it's a life changer, man. Yeah. So I'm 44 years old. I'll be 45 later this year, but I feel better than I did at 25. Shoot, I look better than I did at 25.
Yeah, you look great, man.
No, I mean, but it didn't happen overnight, of course, right? Sure. It's like those first 3 months were like, hell. But you get to the point where you enjoy the process. It's like anything. You get to the point where you enjoy the process, then that's when the beautiful stuff happens,
everything
right?
Opens up. Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm actually enjoying the work that goes into this.
Not focusing on losing the weight as much.
And same thing with you guys, like with this, right? There's like a process to put all of this together, right? Sure. And from what I can take is you enjoy it. And I enjoy the process of putting TV together. It's like, if you're going to do anything, if you're going to do a job 40, 50, 60 hours a week, you might as well like enjoy those 40, 50, 60 hours and not be miserable. You know what I mean? So I just think that's so, learning to love the process of what you're doing, man, is so important.
So is diet a part of the plan as well?
Big time.
What kind of things you eat and what kind of diet?
Man, I'm a carnivore. A lot of meat, a lot of barbecue. So my last TV gig was in Texas. I was in San Antonio for about 5 years. I grew up in the Northwest, and so down there is where I got like kind of really into barbecue. So I got like a smoker and I smoke everything, and I mean, so a lot of meat, a lot of protein, and a lot of vegetables.
A little Dr. Atkins, a little
sort of. I cut out. I mean, I'm not like a no carb guy. I have a little pasta,
right?
A little bread.
Keto,
sweet potatoes. No, I don't mess with keto.
Sure.
But yeah, man, a lot of carnivore. I do all the cooking. My wife doesn't cook, so.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, man, my wife could burn cornflakes. I was joking.
I never heard of that before.
Yeah, so and she'll be the first to tell you that. I've been with her. We've been together. We've been married, 15 coming on 16 years. Been with her like 18 coming on 19 years.
Amazing.
She's probably cooked dinner for me like maybe 10 times in those like almost 20 years. So I handle all that. So I can regulate it a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, dude, you can't do one without the other. You can't work out and not eat healthy and expect to get results, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So that's you got to enjoy them both.
Hand in hand.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. You've been in this industry for 15 years.
I've been in the industry longer. I've been in the industry 20. This is 22 years.
Update.
22 years.
Update. 22 years.
Yeah, I've been in this job for 15. Yeah.
What is it that keeps you locked in? What is it that you like about connecting and interviewing with the people?
I don't know how to do anything else. No, I mean, I'll tell you guys a little story. And so as a kid growing up, I always liked talking and performing and being in front of. I also like writing. I got into the school newspaper when I was in high school. I was heavily involved in acting and I wanted like a marriage of the two things. And this is back in the 90s when acting wasn't even an option. There was no Indian dudes on TV. I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I went to Washington State, majored in broadcast, journalism. TV, I was like, oh, let's try this out. And I really got into it. Okay, anyways, graduated. First gig is in Yakima, Washington. I'm making like minimum wage salary. I don't have a cameraman. I'm my own cameraman. Doing everything, lugging around my own gear. And I remember saying to a guy I was working with, I was like, we were talking about our career goals. I was like, here's what I want my career goal to be. I was like, I want a job in the Northwest. You see, it can be either Portland or Seattle. It can be one of those two cities. And I want my own kind of daily feature segment where I do my own thing, focus on something positive. And that's my job. I want my name on the segment somehow. And that was in 2000. So we had that conversation. In 2006, I got hired, and they told me we're doing a segment called On the Go with Joe.
Oh, wow.
And like the actual thing that like I visualized happened. So now it's like 15 years. Wow. It's like, man, this is what I wanted. This is the goal. I have yet to come up with another goal. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I wanted to do. So
you do it so well.
Well, thank you. But it's like it's become what I wanted to do. But you still gotta like the challenge. The thing that keeps me going is I don't want it to be stale. People are watching this. My name is on it. My face is on it. I don't want you to say, man, and it's hard when you're doing it 5 days a week for 15 years.
Right.
But it's like, I don't want people to say, man, I've seen this guy do this a million times. And in some cases you have. I mean, there's only so many gyms you can go to, only so many restaurants, but I'm still trying to find those unique stories, unique people, unique experiences that I haven't done before. So that's what really gets me going. What I get most excited about is when I get a chance to do a story that's like nothing I've ever done before. And I still get those moments. And that's what keeps it going.
That's good. And let's leave it right there. What do you think is the most memorable experience you had with interviewing or covering an event or a topic?
I've had a lot of it's the experiences. I mean, I've got to meet a lot of people I never would have gotten to meet, and the list is just way too long to even go into. But I've had a really fortunate life in that regard. But a lot of it is the experiences. I've flown with the Navy Blue Angels, and they made me pass out. Like, we did all these checks in like this F-18.
Yeah, I can imagine. You're in the back, right?
And you have to do all these breathing exercises before that, and I still passed out. Like, it was incredible. I've climbed to the very top of the Fremont Bridge and like walked on top up there. Just like a view that like nobody else gets to see. When I was in Texas, I actually rode a bull for about a second and a half, but I rode a bull.
Oh, Matador, you?
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, it's these experiences, things I never would have had an opportunity to do otherwise. These things would have never come up. Would have never got the chance to do it. So that's to me what the experiences. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That is so cool. I mean, I also love the fact that you're Indian. Because your nationality has a lot in common with the African American experience.
Yeah, I think
in so many ways. Elaborate on some of those experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty big in the African American community, and we have a lot of people who are watching. So shout out to our people and members. So thank y'all for tuning in. But we also want to share some of the similarities because there are a lot of challenges from, I would even say, racism to music to
100%.
food to soul. Everything is not always on a negative scenario when we have similarities, but it seems like always racism is one of them.
Well, it's the first thing that it's funny you say that. So growing up as a kid, so my dad was from India, but I have a white mother, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm biracial, and so my feet were always in like two worlds, kind of. You know what I mean? Like. So I had a white family, I've got an Indian family. And at the time, again, now you see a lot of Indians on TV and in movies. In the 1980s when I grew up, none of that.
Nobody, yeah.
You were a cab driver, or you were, you could maybe be a terrorist, but there was more Arabs, but people would confuse you with Arabs all the time. Nobody knew what I was growing up. There were no other Indian kids at the school. So yeah, racism, 100%. The jokes, I mean, shoot, you might still get some now. I mean, so obviously that is something that you dealt with. I will say, like, as a young kid growing up, I did kind of, like, black culture to me was very appealing. Mm-hmm. I wasn't black, but I felt in some ways I could understand some of the things I heard in music and some of, like, I felt I could still relate to it on my own level.
Sure.
Not the exact same experience, but I felt some of the same notes in the music, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To me, like I think family is, you know, I want to say this delicately. I feel Indians, we are you're taught to like really respect your elders. You don't talk back to your parents. You don't talk back to the elders in the community. I see that the same in the black community. I don't see that in every community, you know? Sure. And that's something I try to instill in my kids. Yeah, it's just a sense of the sense of community. I think is very similar. We haven't been here as long as you guys, so we're you know, my generation is really the first one that's learning what it's to be an American, right? I was born here. My generation is the first generation that was born here. So the people that are coming here from it, they've got their own things that they've kind of got to get through, and they're trying to figure out how this American thing works. Sure. You know what I'm saying? My generation is the first one that was born here, raised here, and we're kind of like figuring it out.
So you're totally Americanized.
Yeah, my cousins, I got 4 cousins that live here in Portland, like that I'm very close with, since I was born here in Portland, and they moved here in 69, I think, or 70 or something like that.
So y'all seen the whole transition in Portland, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there were no Indian restaurants 50 years ago. There were 40 years ago. Forget about it. So they were, you know, like my aunt, and when my aunt came here, she didn't even like speak English really. So like it was figuring that out. But her kids, all born and raised here. You know, my older cousin, who's kind of like an older brother to me, he grew up, you know, a Blazers fan and all that stuff, and like what it is to be an American. So yeah, we're the generation that's kind of figuring it out. So it's going to be interesting to see. But then, you know, like it's weird because I got kids that, my wife is white. My kids are my oldest child, man, you wouldn't know she had a drop of Indian blood in her. So it's like, she got blue eyes. My youngest, so their experience is going to be different from my experience. But I do definitely, like, I've taken them to India, had them meet their relatives there. Yeah. I want them to understand the culture. I make Indian food for them.
Oh yeah.
Because that's obviously important. I want them to know where they came from.
What's your dish you make? What's your favorite dish?
So here's the thing. So my aunt, who's from here, she makes a dish. She takes a salmon and she makes a curry out of it. Now you will never get this at an Indian restaurant ever. Basically what she did was, when she came here 50 years ago, again, no Indian restaurants, she took what she could get here in America and kind of like made, it's like American Indian fusion, right? Oh, wow. Yeah, so I grew up on it. So she makes all these traditional dishes, but the food that I like, one of these days when I open my restaurant.
Okay.
Coming soon. Exactly.
It'll be all my aunt's like recipes of like Indian food that was like kind of like reimagined in America. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of dishes that I like, but I like the spicy stuff too. You know, so I like everything. But that's my go-to dish. If I'm gonna have somebody over, I'm gonna make them the salmon curry and blow their mind. I'm like, yeah, that's
Indian. That sound fire too.
Yeah.
Salmon curry.
It's good, man. It's good.
My favorite is the tandoori chicken.
Yeah. That's our version of barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Like
with the paste and stuff.
Yes, sir. The tandoori chicken. I mean, that's you get a clay oven and they cook it in that, and that's I love tandoori chicken. It's hard to do at home though. You gotta have like the special pot. That's worth going to a restaurant for you. I can't fire up tandoori at home. Not the legit thing.
All day, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Joe, I got a question for you. You know, media and news plays a big role in businesses in today. Could you share a few tips because some business owners watching today,
yes, sir,
of how they may be able to reach out to the news and get their business exposed or get the business covered?
So here's what I'll say, because I work with small business all the time. I know you guys do as well. I mean, if you can afford to get a professional PR marketing firm behind you, do that. But I understand that's cost prohibitive. You're a small business starting out, not everybody can do that. First, do your research. Find out what are the media outlets in town. Contact them. Say, you know, if it's a restaurant, hey, who do you have that might cover a story at a restaurant? Or if it's a gym or whatever your business might be. And then reach out to that person personally. Get their contact information. Don't just send out a blanket thing. Say, you know, and then tailor it to them. Say, hey, Jovi, you know, we've got, maybe do a little research. Look them up online. You can go on their website, see what they do, get a little feel for what they do. Will this work for you, right? Can you see yourself being in one of these segments? If so, reach out to them directly. Write them a custom email. hey, blah, blah, blah. Tell your story. What makes you unique? You know, what makes you stick out? You open a restaurant. Okay, well, there's thousands of restaurants. What makes yours special? Hone in on that. If you want to pitch a TV station, how can you make this a TV show? You know what I mean? Like, what are the visual elements?
Right.
Can we see you cooking this thing? Because this isn't radio. I gotta show my audience something. So know who you're who. If it's print, that's a different conversation. So do your research. Reach out directly. And let us know what makes you special, what makes you unique.
So press releases, is that still a thing?
Of course, but add a personal touch. Write up a press release, but then just email them personally, you know? It'll just take you a minute, and that can break through the clutter. Because I'll tell you, I get 30 emails a day, at least, of pitches and PR people, and I don't have time to read every single word. But if it's a personalized email, it's a paragraph or two, I got time to read that. You know what I mean? And press releases are good, but make sure off the top we know why this thing is special.
Right.
If I can't, in the first paragraph, understand what this is about, don't bury the lead. If I'm like, I don't know what this is, boom, then I got time's money.
That's a big tip. Don't bury the lead.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm glad we had this conversation, and because me and Asa, we get a lot of messages that come into the DM, and it's like, hey, can I be on your show? And it's like, okay, well, who are you?
Yeah.
What do you do? So that's the reason why I wanted to ask you that question. That was a great tips, by the way, and I hope people out in TV land are watching and listening to what Joe just said, because that's very informative. If you have a business, you want to expose your business, you want to get the news involved, make sure you go and listen to Joe's tips that he just gave on how to get your business involved with the news and get it covered.
Cool.
So I definitely appreciate you, and this is no cap. He actually does look in the DM and read back the messages. So we definitely appreciate.
Yeah, man, we connected on Instagram.
Yeah, the DMs. You know what I mean? It goes down in the DMs. That's what they say, at least. But I appreciate you at least giving us the opportunity, because we care strongly about our roots here in this community in Northeast Portland, and we do our best to make sure that the African American community and the urban community is highlighted. So to make sure that people are clear in TV land, this is not just for black folks. These are for anybody who loves urban movement. So if you got some seasoning in your soul, this is definitely for you. Again, I got some Asian people who can break dance way better than most of us.
Oh my gosh,
so, come on, man. So it's not even about the race. So tap in to the urban movements, and even look on YouTube. You may find some different nationalities who have picked up the urban movement. I have found some cipher videos in India, believe it or not.
Oh, really? Okay.
They freestyle.
Wait, in England? Are they rapping in English?
In India, they're rapping ciphers, like real ciphers.
But when you said, like, are they rapping in English or their native
They're
language?
rapping in their language.
In Hindi or whatever
And
it is?
you can hear,
Okay.
and so you know when things rhyme.
Yeah, right.
But they spitting.
And this is Dopedelic Stony Psycho, and this is my hood, this is my people. Represent, man, represent.
Whoa.
Alright. Dopedelic Stony Psycho, you and Daravi. Enemies, dogs, enemy troops. Yeah, check this out. தூக்கம் கலந்த பின்னும் தெரிவதெல்லாம் கெட்ட கனவு காசு பணம் இல்லாட்டி இங்க இல்ல நல்ல உறவு காசுதான் எல்லாம் என்றால் திறமைக்குள்ள மதிப்பு நல்லோருக்கு காலம் இல்ல இங்க கெட்டவனுக்கு பரிசு ஆனாலும் இந்த பயணம் தொடங்கும் இது தோல்வி அடைஞ்சவனின் புதிய தொடக்கம் என் காலடி சத்தம் கூட எல்லா திசையில் ஒழிக்கும் என்னை கொண்டு அடைச்சால் கூட என் சிந்தனை எங்கேயும் பறக்கும் புதிய புரட்சி படைத்து முடிக்கும் புயலை போல கதவை உடைக்கும் பெரிய புகழை தூக்கி நிறுத்தும் பழைய காலத்தை மாற்றி படைக்கும் என் உயிர் இருக்கும் இறுதி வரைக்கும் என் கவிதை ராகத்தில் கலந்து இருக்கும் நான்
I used to freestyle back in the day. Like 25 years ago. Like when I was in high school. Yeah.
What was your name?
Shoot, it's embarrassing.
Here's
what.
You was on those back hallways
rapping.
rapping.
So I had buddies that were in bands, right? And so the opening act would be like they'd go out and lay down a drum and bass beat, and I'd freestyle about everyone in the room. And my name back in the day was Funky V.
Okay. Funky V.
Okay.
Yeah.
Funky V in the house today.
Don't ask me to do it. I haven't done it in about 20 years, so 25 years. So I need, I need a couple cocktails now to do it. But that was, you're talking like 93, 94, way back then.
Joe, are you a sneakerhead? Because you be having some nice sneakers. Even your interviews, you have some clean kicks.
But These, I gotta show these. So these are the Dame Dollar, Ric Flair collabs. This is the
Shout out Dame Dollar.
King of Drip, they call it.
Okay.
So these, I'm not, but this was my Christmas present.
Okay.
And because I saw these, and I'm like, I'm a big wrestling fan, as we were talking about.
Yeah.
And Ric Flair is one of my top 2 or 3 all time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dame, of course, representing PDX. So I saw these, and I told my wife, I was like, that's my Christmas present.
Yeah.
Now I don't break them. I knew I was coming with you guys,
Yeah.
and you got swag. So
Yeah.
I was like, I better break out the Ric Flairs here.
And he got the vintage dope T-shirt on. If y'all ain't seen
That's
it.
Andre the Giant throwback
Come
there.
on,
Original.
Come on, fam. Hard shirts like that are hard to find, and then when you do find them, they charge you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh yeah, they
yeah.
charge you. Those could easily be $100 to $200 T-shirts because you can't find them anymore.
$40 bucks. But
Well, that's how
yeah.
Sean Witherspoon from Nike, if you ever heard the Sean Witherspoon Air Maxes, that's who he is and how he became famous. He started a vintage T-shirt line back in LA, California, selling them out the lockers.
Yeah.
And they used to go thrift store shopping every weekend to find different stuff. And now they have a shop full of all the dope shirts you can't find anymore.
Yeah.
Back to the Future, Van Halen, Metallica,
Oh, yeah,
all
man.
the dope, the
Oh,
original
man.
ones though. So it's like,
I wear a lot of new brands. I wear a lot of vintage, anything from maybe like the late 60s up until today. I like mixing and matching stuff. I feel like that's the best.
Yeah.
that's why I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, thank you again, man, for giving us the time.
Oh, of course, anytime, man.
You sat back and you enlightened the people. You gave them some tips, some game, and you told them a lot about yourself.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you for
keep up the good work. I was telling you guys off camera. I'll say it for your audience, man. I've been doing this for a while, and I know how much time and effort and work and dedication and vision it takes to pull something like this off. So props to you for doing this, man. I mean, this is like not easy to do, man. This takes a lot of time and dedication. So just keep it up, man.
Appreciate it,
All right?
man. Appreciate the love, man.
Thanks, fellas.
Joe V in the house, y'all.
All right.